everybody, and welcome to the Row by Row Garden Show. I'm Travis.
And I'm Greg.
And this is our weekly show where we talk all things gardening, show you some stuff from our garden, and even answer some of your viewer questions from last week's show. This is your first time joining us.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you, and hope you join us every week. If you have any questions during the show, make sure to put those in the comments, and as always, we'll get to them on the next week's show. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing well.
You over Christmas?
I'm getting over Christmas well. I overdid it just like a lot of other people did, but I'm doing well. Glad it's over with. Glad to get back to work.
That's right. That's right. I saw a post on Facebook, one of them memes, that said that this time between Christmas and New Year's, don't nobody know what day it is or what date it is. It's just kind of confusing. And I woke up this morning thinking it should have been weekend already.
Well, I stay confused.
So, but we got through Christmas all right and got New Year's coming.
Yep.
And that's kind of what's going to be the focus of this week's show. We're going to talk about some new things we got coming for 2019. And we're going to talk about some New Year's resolutions in the garden that each of us have for 2019.
Mm-hmm. But first of all, we got show and tell.
We do got some show and tell. What do you have there?
Well, I got kohlrabi, which is some purple kohlrabi, and I put a little salt on it there. And I like to eat it raw a little bit. It's pretty good.
I do too.
Not exactly like a turnip. Put
I think it
salt
tastes
on
more
it.
like a cucumber than anything.
But I just did the top of it. You could see it there. And I feel
Nice little presentation you did there.
It's nice. And yeah. Also, we've got... Yeah, I'll let you talk about it, and I'll show everybody what it looks like.
So this is what we call mixed Asian greens here, and let me hold it so I can get to them here. So this is we did a video on this in the past. We grow these on beds. We call them mixed Asian greens, and there's 5 different five different varieties in here. You've got this green right here, which is called Mizuna, which is kind of like an Asian mustard. It's got a fairly mild flavor to it that you can eat salads just of this stuff. And all of these, you could grow them by themselves. This mix makes a really pretty presentation. Get that pecan leaf out of there. This one here is called Tatsoi, which is the more rounded leaf right there. That one's really nice too. It's kind of milder. Then you've got some red Russian kale in there, which is pretty mild. Good to eat raw as well. And then the ones with a little kick to them is that red mustard there.
And it gives you a little bit of the spice.
Gives you a little bit of bite. And then you've got the arugula here, which is going to give you a little bit of kick as well. So when you mix them all together, makes a really nice presentation there. You can just put some salad dressing on this right here and go to town, or you can saute them up and they're really good like that. As far as our seed options go, we're going to sell a greens mix called the Premium Greens Mix. It's going to look just like this. It's going to have the arugula, the red mustard, the Mizuna, the Tatsoi, and what did I forget? The red Russian kale. You'll also be able to buy all of these individually. Yeah,
I like growing them as a mix. And if you haven't tried growing these right here for a salad, they're real easy to grow. We got some videos out there showing how we do it. We do it on an elevated bed. They're real easy to grow, and I mean, you can have salad for the whole community. It don't take a lot of it. It's easy to grow and it's very healthy for you. It's a little different from eating the average old ice box salad that you get on the salad bar somewhere. So this is a nice addition, a nice change.
A lot more flavorful than your standard lettuce here. And a lot of your market farmers will plant these on 36-inch beds or 30-inch beds. For me, comfortably, I like to plant them on 2 foot. It's a little easier for me to straddle 2 foot.
I love the 2 foot also.
And cut them. So that's the way I like to do it. And then we take our garden seeder, and you just drill basically as many holes as you can in the plate, because you want to plant these puppies dense. And I've got some that I've cut. This time of year, you just keep cutting them. cut them 4 or 5 times and they'll keep growing back. So.
And you ain't got to worry about no recall on this right here. You grow this yourself, you know it's nice and clean, nice and healthy, and you ain't got to be worried about what you eat. Because lettuce is pretty bad about getting food poisoning and contamination and getting recalls there. You know, we just went through that big romaine recall.
That's right.
So if you grow your own greens, nice, good and healthy, you feel good about it.
That's right. That's right. So when we have those seeds available, which should be
Soon.
at the beginning of the year, we're shooting and it's looking like we're going to hit it. It's going to be close, but should have them up on the site January 1st, and then we'll be adding more varieties in the next couple months or so. So that your choices will keep building there, and we'll have a nice complete selection come spring.
So our tool of the week is the farmer's file. We've talked about this before. But this time of year, I think about tool maintenance. And what I do is one of them dreary Saturdays or Sundays that we have, I'll get out there by myself in the tool shed, and I get my linseed oil, and I get my farmer's file, and I go through there and I clean my tools up. Linseed in my handles down, I take my file and I sharpen my shovels and spades and everything up. And this is a good one to have on hand. This is our tool of the week. Got a little holder there, you can hang it up. Double-sided and single-sided. Double-sided for taking excess material off. Single-sided is for finishing up, getting that edge just like you want it. So there you go.
And that's
tool of the week.
Indispensable tool right there.
Yep.
You can. That's what I like to do. If it starts raining a little bit and you just want to be outside, get underneath the shed, I keep me a little brush out there. I'll brush the dirt off of them and go to town.
It helps if you got your dog sitting there beside of you where you can tell your dog all your problems and talk to it.
Work it out.
Work it out. Have your little therapy session with your tools and your dog. And I can promise you, they won't nobody repeat what you said.
That's right. All right. So check out that farmer's file on the website there. And this week, because New Year's Eve is coming on Tuesday. New Year's Eve, you got big plans for New Year's Eve?
Nope. I'm gonna be in bed probably about 8:39 like I normally am.
Yeah, since I had children, I don't know that I made it to midnight. Just don't do nothing for me anymore. Back in the day, I used to
You'd hang with it, wouldn't you?
really enjoy it, but when them kids wake up at 6:30, you can't stay up too late.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about some new things we've got coming for 2019 and talk about some of our garden resolutions. So we'll start out with the new things Hoss has coming for 2019. And the first big one, which we've alluded to a lot before, is our vegetable seed line, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, we've spent weeks and weeks putting this thing together, and in fact we're working on our building today. So we should have our building completed in a few days. Get everything organized, get everything, we're kind of running a little bit behind, but we're going to catch up real quick, have everything ready to go for springtime. We're really excited about it. We got some unique varieties out there. We're just excited to give people the supplies and the seeds they need and see what kind of turnout they have this spring. It's just going to be a good year for that.
Yeah, and we've always offered the high quality tools and a lot of, the pest control, the drip, and the thing we were kind of missing is what you really need to start with, which is the seed. And now, so we feel like we have that complete solution for all your gardening needs, and we're really excited about that.
The new catalog's coming out pretty soon.
We got our new catalog. I've got the first proof of all 32 pages. I'm teasing through it too, probably. I'm teasing through it and making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and everything's in the right place. And we'll have some of our seed in there, but not all of them, because you can only put so many products on 32 pages. But we're really excited about our cover and what our 2019 catalog looks like. We've got on our website, if you scroll to the bottom, there's a request to catalog there. If you're not already on our list, you can get on it there, and we should start mailing those sometime toward the end of January.
So our target date is to have them all out by the 1st of February?
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
That's right.
And we got a new row-by-row set that we're going to be working on. In our new building that we're adding, we're going to have room in there, we hope, for a new set.
That's right. So we've got our new seed building that we're adding on, and we're going to have that climate and humidity controlled and everything. And then on one side of it, we're gonna do a new row by row set. So this current set that you see is kind of thrown together through the magic of the camera. You can't see it, but we're actually sitting in Greg's office here.
I want my office back.
Yeah, he wants his office back, and it would work out better if we had a devoted set. So, excuse me. So as soon as we get that building finished, I can't promise a particular date, but we're going to have a new set. We're actually going to make the show more interactive with the new set. We're going to maybe do a little cooking on the show.
No, we ain't gonna get into cooking no big casseroles or nothing. We're just gonna do
right. No, it's not gonna be no fancy 17-layer cake. But we'll some of this stuff we bring from the garden, we might throw something together real quick, like have a little more demonstration.
Maybe doing some things on preserving, canning.
That's right, and it should have some better lighting in there. Definitely some better audio in there. So just be patient with us, and I think that new set's going to look really nice.
And we've spent a lot of our resources time this year bringing on the seed line, but we've also got a new handheld oscillating hoe coming out. And this thing has been in the works for a while, but we're real close to having it in production. And what we did is we took our 6-inch oscillating hoe that we use on the wheel hoe, we changed the design of it some so you could put it on a handle. And we're coming out with an oscillating hoe that is heavy duty, that's on the handle, that's going to be USA made.
Right, and so it'll be 6 inches wide. The first one we come out with will be a 6-inch wide handheld oscillating hoe. We'll have the replacement blades for it, all that, and of course it's going to be made with the quality you've come to expect from us.
Yep.
We're really excited about that.
Yep, and more videos for the upcoming year.
That's right. So we've been doing 2 a week. We really want to step that up to 3 a week. You know, it's just us doing the videos. We don't have a full-time film person on staff, although we would like to have one. So, but we're going to try to make time and try to average at least 3 videos a week and get some more content out there for you, so you can see, you know, how we do in the garden and learn some more gardening stuff, and maybe learn some new varieties you hadn't tried yet.
Mm-hmm. So with the upcoming new year, this is the time to reflect back and see what we did wrong, what we did right, what we'd like to do better. And for our New Year's resolutions, we want to talk about, you can go with one, then I'll go with one, and let's go over about 5 of each of the things that we want to do different, or we want to achieve different results for this new year. So what's your first one?
Okay, so my first resolution, which is I'm going to work on pretty quick. You know, most resolutions, I forget what the percentage is, but it's not very high that they're kept. But this is something I'm going to do pretty quick, and that's expand my garden size. As my market farming operation, which we'll talk about on another show, grows a little bit, I need more room. And also, we're going to be having some unique pumpkin varieties that we're trying to kind of get back on the market, and we need to grow some seed crops. So I need some more garden space. So I'm going to add about 1/4 acre. We're going to dig up some pine trees and add about 1/4 acre to what I already have. It's about 120 by 90 spot that we're going to add, and break that up into 6 little subplots there, kind of like you got your garden done. And I need to get started on that soon, so it'll be ready for spring.
Yes, you do. So one of mine for the upcoming years to do a better job with my soil health is to pay more attention to the health of my soil and my microorganisms. And I'm going to do that with using more cover crops, using more compost, and hopefully maybe using less products with a lot of sodium in it. So I want to make my soil, my microorganisms a lot healthier. I want to make my worm population of my soils better. That's one of my goals for the upcoming year.
So less salts?
Maybe some less salts. Yeah, salts can be bad if you use too much of them. So I really got to watch my input of salts, which is basically commercial fertilizers.
Right, I got you. So you're going to try to get some balance there.
Yep.
All right. In going with that, another one on my list is to grow more cover crops, especially in the summertime. I'm bad about in that transition between spring crops and fall crops. In the heat of summer, July, August, not a whole lot we can really grow because of the heat and the humidity. And I'm bad about just sitting out there thinking what I could be planting, and then I never get anything planted, and that dirt's just sitting there burning up. And I need to do a better job of planting some summer or warm weather cover crops to feed that soil and nurture that soil during those times when it's so hot and humid.
So my next one is to do a better job with succession planting. I am the world's worst when my cucumbers or tomatoes get toward the end of their life, letting them stay out there thinking I'm going to get 2 or 3 more tomatoes or 2 or 3 more cucumbers when they've gone to the end of their life and disease and insects is eating these plants up. But I want to leave them there a little bit longer because I want to get a little more out of them. Well, I want to do a better job when their life is over with, do away with them and plant something else or have something else come along. So instead of letting those plants sit out there and drive my insect population up, my disease pressure, my weed pressure up, as soon as they're gone, I want to do away with them. Plant something else, whether it be another cover crop or another crop out there.
And another thing you can do in conjunction with that is to make sure you remove those plants.
Remove those plants, yeah. Keep it clean instead of letting it get bad on me.
Right. All right, and then my next one is to plant more winter squash in the spring. Just because of how we think of Thanksgiving and pumpkins and winter squash, a lot of times we don't think about planting them till fall. Well, they're pretty hard to grow here in the fall because of the squash bug and mildew pressure. So I'm going to grow more in the spring. Now, I grew a pretty good crop of the small wonder spaghetti squash, which we'll carry on our seed line, and some acorn squash. But I'm going to even grow pumpkins in spring, some other stuff, because that stuff will store on into, you harvest it in July, it'll store on through Christmas. So I'm going to grow them when I know I can grow them well and just let them store until then.
Well, I've got where I enjoy them a lot more than I used to. We had some of the kabochi squash last night, and I'm going to do the same thing. Of course, the delicatas are my favorite, so I'm going to grow some in the spring also. So back to my list.
Okay.
Lose 35 pounds.
Lose 35 pounds.
Lose 35 pounds. And we're just going to leave that one there. Move on to your next one.
we don't need
to expand on
talk
that.
about how we're going to do it.
No, we're going to just move on and go to your next one.
Okay. Well, I don't have any personal ones, but
well, now you didn't say I couldn't put some personal ones on the list.
No, I didn't.
So I threw a couple in there.
It's
but
okay.
That's
It's okay. No harm, no foul.
Okay.
The next one on my list is to plant more multi-harvest crops. And what I mean by these are crops that can be harvested more than one time, because in my market farming side deal, I need to make the most out of my time in the garden. So if I'm planting something, it's better to plant something that I'm going to get repeat harvest from, as opposed to something that I'm going to cut one time.
Prime example would be the Asian greens.
Asian greens are a good example. Another two that are big ones for me are the Untitled Kale and the tiger collards.
Okra.
Okra is another one. And the one that I did in the fall, but I'm really going to do a spring, and I'm going to really ramp up the pole beans, the rattlesnake beans. Those, when you trellis them there, they're really only taking up about 2 foot wide in the garden, but you're getting a lot of production from them.
Okay. So my next one is I want to go fishing over at the Okefenokee Swamp on the Fargo side, and I want to catch me a mess of those warmouth and chain pickerel. Now, I've caught warmouth a lot in my lifetime, but I've never caught the chain pickerel. But the Okefenokee Swamp is notorious for their warmouth population and their chain pickerel. So that's on my list to do.
Yeah, I bet the majority of our viewers have never heard of a warmouth fish before, but you can Google that and check that out. Those are really pretty local species there. And I'm going to stick with the gardening thing.
Okay.
The next one on my list is to do more pickling and fermenting. I've kind of, in the last few years, when we first started the garden where I'm at now, we did a lot of pickling and stuff. And as you get busy and have children and stuff, I didn't do as much of it. But I want to start doing more pickling some different things, beets, more than just pickles. And I want to do some some more fermenting. I've dabbled with a little in the past, but I really want to get into making some sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut, and fermenting some carrots and other stuff. Good for your biology inside.
Probiotics.
Probiotics, that's right.
All right, my last one is I am limited to what I can grow, and I go from, especially on these corns, because corns take up a lot of room for me, and I go from variety to variety, and I skip around from year to year, and it's been a few years since I've grown Hickory King. And I want to go back and I'm going to grow Hickory King this year. It's one of my favorite varieties. I haven't grown in a while, and I probably like it best when it's in the milking stage to eat it fresh off the cob.
That's a field corn.
As any field corn I've ever ate. So Hickory King's back on my to-do list this year. I may lay off the Bloody Butcher for a year or two. I still got some of that put up. So lay off and go back to the Hickory King.
And the Hickory King, which we'll carry that as well. If you've never looked in it makes stalks. They can get 13, huge. 14 foot tall sometimes. Each stalk makes two big old ears that are usually like a foot long. Mm-hmm. And the kernels are huge.
Yeah.
It's a really neat variety to go really.
Basically what we call it in the South roasting ears.
Roasting ears. You just leave them in the shuck, put them on the grill. And
or you can shuck them back and grill them on the grill. I do that a lot of times. I like that.
All right. And then I've got one more here, and my last one kind of ties in with one of the other ones I said, is to grow more okra. It seems like I can never grow enough okra to meet my demands or needs. And I've grown, 4 rows last year, and I just got to grow more okra.
I grew more okra, and I like growing okra. Okra's fun to grow to me. It's one of those plants I struggle with every year that I always plant too early. You can't plant okra in cold dirt. So you got to make sure it gets warm, and if you get that figured out, it's easy to grow. You don't have a lot of pest problems with it. You don't have a lot of disease problems. And this new variety that we like to grow some well is called jambalaya. Makes earlier than anybody else, so you can normally have okra a couple of weeks before your neighbor does.
And if you transplant it, you sure enough can.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we like to do. All right, so let's hear your guys' New Year's resolution. So in the comments there, tell us what your goals are or resolutions are for this year in the garden, and we're glad to hear kind of what everybody's doing. And you might have some resolutions that we want to adopt as well and use. So let us know what you're thinking as far as New Year's resolutions.
So we got a question here from Mr. Chris Pope, and I'll let you answer this first one.
Okay.
It says, are you going to be selling any NOP compliant pelleted seed?
So what he means by NOP, I think is organic compliant pelleted seed, which you see a lot with carrots, lettuce, some things like that. Initially, we're not going to be carrying any pelleted NOP compliant pelleted seed. We have one variety of tomatoes that's pelleted, and that's just for ease of transplanting because
they are so expensive.
Yeah, the hybrid tomato varieties are a little pricey, so you want to make sure you only get one seed per hole when you're sowing those. As we see what the demand is for certain varieties, it's definitely not out of the question that we would add some as soon as we needed to. So we'll kind of keep our.
I would suspect in the near future we'll start carrying some pelleted lettuces.
Right. We have a pretty good pulse of what our customers want and like, and if we see that demand, we will definitely respond to it and get some of those added. And then our last question here this week is from Tim Jones, and he wants to. We were talking about the biofumigation with the mustard last week, and he wanted us to know. Do we plant that with a seeder or do we broadcast it?
I've done both. So if I'm using it for a cover crop, I normally broadcast it. If I'm doing it for a food crop, I plant it in rows with a seeder. Now, broadcasting works good because you can use it as a cover crop and you can also eat some of it. You have to be real careful that you don't overplant broadcasting it in. That's one of the most common mistakes I see made there, because these seeds are so small, it's easy to get too many of them out there. Back in the day, a lot of people used to cut it with grits and things like that to try to get the rate down. Broadcasting works fine for a cover crop. Just make sure that you don't get overplanted. If you're going to plant for strictly a food plot, plant it in rows.
My 2 cents on that is if the area, and I don't know what the threshold is, but do one or the other based on the size of the area. If it's a pretty significant large area broadcast. It's going to take you too long with a seeder. The spot I did was only about 15 foot wide, so it didn't take me about 10 minutes with the seeder. If you're doing a quarter acre, that's going to take you a long time.
Yeah, 4 cover crop.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
All right. If we answer your question, what we're going to give away this week?
We answered your question on the show. Send us your address to custserve@hallstools.com and we'll send you a free koozie. And so put your questions in the comments and you could win something on next week's show. And I think that's going to do it for us today.
So that's a wrap.
That is a wrap, and we will see you guys next week.
Take care.